blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
Guys, we are screwed. We are never gonna get this in on time.
We're gonna fail this class and we're gonna be ostracized and tarred and feathered.
I don't know if they'll go that far, but we are gonna fail and I'm gonna get another academic probation and what are we even gonna talk about?
Okay, let's calm down, let's calm down. We can do this.
It's due in December with, okay, let's think and brainstorm. Hey, you two, hey, brainstorm. Anything you can think of, okay? Let's take 5 seconds, whatever, we'll...
Why don't you talk about Minnesota?
Oh my god, guys. I have an idea. I think we should do Minnesota. Wow, that's a surprisingly good idea. But what's so interesting about Minnesota?
Actually, from a geological standpoint, Minnesota has a pretty interesting history. Back during the last ice age, there was Lake Agassiz, which was here, which was a giant glacial lake that covered most of the Midwest during the last ice age, and it was bigger than any of the Great Lakes put together and had more water in it than all of the lakes today combined. And it started receding during the last ice age, and now there are just remnants of it. Lake Pacagama, Lake Winnipeg, Lake Superior, Lake of the Woods, and Red Lake are all remnants of it, but the lake itself has been gone for thousands of years. And as it receded, it left deposits of iron ore and limestone, which is what we mine now. So, that's pretty interesting.
Is that what created all the other, like the 10,000 lakes too?
The smaller lakes?
No, you guys. I'm pretty sure it was Babe the Big Blue Ox. Babe the Big Blue Ox.
What? No.
Yeah.
No, honey.
As glaciers... when he ran across and his hoof prints, they created all the 10,000 lakes. My grandfather told me this, so I know it's true.
No, honey. Glaciers moved across the continent, and that carved out the lakes.
No, I don't think so, but good try. Okay.
Anyways, so that's how the ore got here, but I don't know much about the ore itself.
Well, it's actually kind of cool. People were sat there and drawn to the Minnesota region by pyrite that was found, which was one of the things left over from the glaciers.
That's fool's gold, right?
Yep, fool's gold, and it's also a form of iron. It's basically rusted iron. And so we came here sitting there looking for the pyrite, and surprising fact, a lot of people think that fool's gold is fake gold, but fool's gold can contain gold. So when the big gold rush of the 1800s came, they came up here for that pyrite.
So it's not fake?
Well, it's fake, but it draws in precious elements. You can actually sometimes find diamonds in pyrite. But we didn't obviously have a lot of that, but we were already settled up here looking for the gold, and we found hematite, that very rich ore that we've now mined to depletion.
That's the red ore, right?
Yep, the red ore, also known as blood ore. It was 85% iron actually, so it's a lot richer than the taconite we mine now, which I think is 14% iron, and that's magnetite, which is not nearly as strong as it is.
And just so you know, when you go pit diving and you get up all red, that is the blood ore.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of it was too dusty to sit there and mine. So that stuff, when we started the leftovers when we started mining the taconite, just got thrown onto the hills, which is why so many of our hills are red.
That's interesting. I do know that there's actually, when we talk about the Iron Range, we talk about it as if it was one entity, but in reality, there are 4 different Iron Ranges. We're on the Masabi Range, which is considered the iron range. It's the biggest of the ranges, and we do mostly open pit mining. We have the biggest open pit mine in the continental U.S. Actually, in the U.S., the only country that has a bigger open pit mine is China, and because China's got bigger everything, obviously. But it's actually not even, the Masabi Range wasn't even the first iron range to be found. That would be the Vermilion Range, and that has very hard ores, so they can only underground mine there, whereas the Masabi Range, we have very soft, dusty ore, which can basically be shoveled away. There are also two other ranges, the Gunflint and the Cuyuna Range, which go up to, but we don't like Canada because they gave us Justin Bieber. Yeah. We're also lucky enough to be in the Canadian Shield, which is the hardest, has some of the hardest rock on the continent, and it is impossible for there to be earthquakes where we are, or at least bad enough to really rattle us.
Unless, the Canadian Shield becomes active again, being that it's a volcano. An extinct volcano, but a volcano.
This is true.
One of the things actually that we have, another thing that we have because of the iron ranges and all the mining is because we have a bare front to Canada, so we get in all their winds in the winter, including subarctic and polar winds.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, they're actually known for some of the worst snowstorms we have, the Alberta Clippers. Which, well, not snowstorms, but cold fronts. Those days when it's like 45 below. Yep, that's Canada's fault.
Also, here's another fun fact about Minnesota, is Duluth is the farthest inland you can get from the ocean without using any other passageways, because we have the St. Lawrence Seaway, which comes in and connects to the Great Lakes and goes right up to Superior. That's how you were talking about the fur traders coming here. Mm-hmm. That's the route they used.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
We actually have a lot in Minnesota that I didn't think we had.
Yeah, I guess it is a little bit interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Very good, you three.
What was that? Oh, that's just the voice of God.
Do you hear this a lot? God, did we get all of that right?
Not really. I just put things where I thought they would look cool.
Oh my God, you guys, it's like snowing out. I'm gonna go build a fort.
Oh, you tell me you're from Texas, man, well, that's all right with me. You tell me you have spent some time around Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I come from Minnesota, and to you that may seem strange. I'm not ashamed to tell you, hoss, that I come from the range. I come from the range where the folks are mighty proud. I come from the range and I'm gonna sing it loud. You may talk about your Dallas and your roads, that's not so strange. I'm not ashamed to tell you, hoss, that I come from the range. Yeah, you may talk about your...
Should we join her?
Yeah!